It's raining. Did I say it was raining? No, perhaps I can't say that it is raining. All I can say is that there are huge droplets of rain, caught perfectly still in the air. I can see the shape of them, pulled along like teardrops. I can even see that some have just hit the ground, bursting like tiny bombs. The faces around me are wet. The hair is slicked down and darkened by the rain. And then everything changes. Each drop of rain is suddenly nearer to its explosive little death. And the knife, again, is closer. The knife, shining in the rain. I got in at about 10. My mom and dad were watching the lottery drawn on the telly. The living room had layers of stale smoke hanging in it, and Mom was holding a cigarette straight up, balancing a crooked tower of ash. I'd given up nagging her about smoking. It just annoyed her. I was supposed to be in by 9. My dad looked around from the sofa. "Where you been, Paul?" He sounded like he wanted to make the effort to care, but couldn't quite be bothered. "Just out, Dad. Like I told you, with some friends." I waited for a couple of seconds to see if he'd say anything else, or if Mom would say something, but they were lost in the numbers on the telly. "Is there anything to eat?" A pause. They didn't even play the lottery. "Put yourself some oven chips on," said Mom after the last ball had bobbed into place. I went to the kitchen and looked in the freezer compartment of the fridge. There weren't any oven chips. There were some peas and a tray of ice. I found some cheese in the fridge and some white sliced bread in the bread bin, so I made a sandwich. The cheese was hard and cracked, like the skin on an old man's foot. I thought about Shane and the beautiful kitchen in his house, and about his parents listening to classical music with their eyes shut. Dad came in to put the kettle on. "Cup of tea'll help wash that down," he said, nodding at my stale sandwich. I should say more about my dad. He's quite tall and broad, and his belly is big and solid, not the kind you can stick your fingers into. But despite the fact that there was a lot of him, there's something about him that makes you think he's smaller than he is. It might be his head. He's going badly bald, and his features are squashed into the middle of his face. My dad's loud. He shouts a lot, and laughs a lot, but his laughing is really a kind of shouting. Even his ordinary talking is loud, as if everyone else is a bit deaf or too far away. But he's okay, my dad, he really is. Sometimes he collects me from school, either just in the wagon, which was what he called the front bit of the truck, or sometimes the whole thing, with the container hooked on the back. It was the worst when the container was for something embarrassing, and it said it on the side. Once the container was full of, ladies' sanitary things, and the next day some of the kids sang the song from the advert at me. Another time it was for pies, and they all said it was because my dad used to eat a truckload of pies every night. Either way, it was pretty embarrassing. He'd honk his horn when he saw me, and shout out my name. Sometimes when I saw him waiting out at the front of the school, I'd go back inside and hang around until he'd gone. Although I hated being collected by him in it, I actually liked the inside of the wagon. The seat was worn and smooth, and you felt really high up and powerful, and it was where my dad was at his happiest. All the things he used to tell me about when he was at school, and about the wars from his past, he told me when he was in the wagon. We didn't talk very much apart from then. But, like I said, my dad's okay, really. He's rough, but he never hits us or anything. He'll sometimes grab me and rub his fist on top of my head, and that hurts. But he's only playing. I remember when I was little, he used to tickle me, but so hard it felt like he was hitting me, and I'd beg him to stop, but he never would. I mean, in my memories, he doesn't stop, but just carries on until I think something else. The main thing about my dad is that he's obsessed with war and everything to do with it. All kinds of war. The Greeks and Romans, knights, Trafalgar, Waterloo, Wellington, ships, guns, the Battle of Britain, Lancaster, bombers, Stalingrad. He's got loads of war books as well as a whole shelf of videos we can't play because the machine's bust. He says there's no point in getting it fixed because everything just comes out on DVD now. But he won't throw the videos or the machine out, and we don't have a DVD player yet. I read the books too, because they're the only books in the house. Except for Mum's books, which are all about sad ladies falling in love with dark strangers. Actually, she doesn't even read those now because she's too tired. Mum is the opposite of Dad. She's small and quiet, and she looks nice. And she is nice, when she's not too tired. Although she's the opposite of him, she never disagrees with Dad. Or if she does disagree with him, it's only in her head, and she never makes it as far as her mouth. She works really hard. She's a cleaner at the hospital and sometimes takes on extra jobs doing offices in town. But I'm back in the kitchen now with Dad. He started looking at me in a funny way. "What happened to your face?" he said suspiciously. "Have you been fighting?" I don't think he'd have minded much if I said yes. In fact, I think he'd have loved it if I had been, and make a joke of saying, "You should see the other guy," or something like that. "No, Dad, not really." "Well, how did your face get like that then, lad? Did it happen up at Temple Moor?" He sounded more, I don't know, disgusted than concerned. "Looks like a bite or something." "It's nothing, Dad." I think I know what he was getting at, what he was worried about. I'm pretty much sure my dad was worried that I might be gay, and my face had something to do with that. I really hated him thinking that I was gay. It made my insides churn. My dad still thought there was something dirty about being gay, and that if I was gay, then I was dirty. And the thing is, he was so frightened about it that he could never ask me. All he could do was make remarks. I wasn't hungry anymore, and I didn't want the rest of my sandwich. "I'm off to bed," I said. I felt sick and angry inside, but also tired. I could hardly get my mouth to work. "But I've made you some tea. 2 sugars." I thought that maybe I should storm off and slam the door. It was what any decent teenager would have done. But like I said, my dad wasn't so bad. It was just that he had no idea. It was just that everything had been so easy for him, and I was too tired for storming anywhere. "Okay, Dad," I said, my face a mask. "I'll take it up with me. Don't spit on the stairs, the carpet's—" I think he was going to say new, but then he must have remembered that it was 10 years old, if it was a day.